Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to Revelations with Rowena. I'm Dr. Rowena Winkler, and I am super excited to be chatting with Alicia Cohen today about her journey into entrepreneurship and about the 3 secrets of effective planning. So I'm really excited to hear all about it. Alicia, thank you so much for being here today. Yeah, so as I mentioned, tell folks what led you on this journey and what brought you to doing the amazing work that you've been up to?
Oh, well, thanks. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. And second of all, I know I've told you this before, but I think it's really cool that you sing your intro. I was like, oh, she's going to sing it. I'm
Here
excited. Like, yeah. I was like, where is it? Where? I was like, yeah, cool.
I love it. Thank
So,
you.
yeah, no. So thanks for having me. And I'm excited to be here with you all today. So, me, who am I? Where did I come from? So I'm Alicia Cohen from Alicia Cohen Designs, where I teach intentional planning, effective productivity, and important mindset shifts for busy moms to get more calm in our lives and to focus on what matters most. So that's my thing. How did I get here? So I have always been organized, but I haven't always been effective in my productivity. And that was interesting to me because I thought the two went together. I thought like organization, time management, right? It was like just one big package, and it wasn't. So I found myself a while ago going through my day and just getting to the end of the day and feeling like, ugh, like another day and it didn't go well. Like every day I would wake up and be like, yeah, I'm going to get 27 million things done today. And then I'd get to the end of the day and I got like maybe 2 things done or something. And I just get to the end of the day, feel like a failure. Like, what is wrong? Like, I'm an organized person. Like, I've got a beautiful color coded calendar. I've got a categorized to-do list. Like, why? What's the problem? And so what I call this time is that I was on the hamster wheel marathon. So, hamster in a little wheel, right? Like doing a thing, and it's running and it's not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
So that was me working so hard on my hamster wheel, running in the same place and not feeling like I was getting anywhere. So I finally had enough because I would like have dinner with my husband and he'd be like, so Alicia, how was your day? What did you do today? And I'd be like, I knew I had done stuff all day. I knew I had been busy. But yeah. So it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I did stuff all day, babe, but I couldn't answer my poor husband. So I was like, okay, enough is enough. Like, this is so stressful. This is so not fun, and I like to learn. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna sick some good old learning on this one, and like let's do this. So workshops, books, whatever I could to try to figure out, like, I gotta crack this nut, because I can't just keep getting to the end of the day every day feeling like I'm exhausted from the hamster wheel marathon and like I'm failing. Like that's
Yeah, not a good place to be.
Yeah. So finally, through my learning, through my searching and, experimenting, trying and tweaking and whatever, I cracked the code for myself. I figured it out. I got off the hamster wheel marathon. Whoo! Like, that was amazing. And then shortly after, a good friend of mine was lamenting about similar things. So I said, oh, well, I just figured out blah, 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 blah. Why don't you try blah, 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 and see what happens? And, well, wouldn't you know, it helped her. So I was like, I helped myself, I helped my friend. So how many other moms might be out there who could benefit from this? And also, like, how many moms out there could I save the time and the hassle and the heartache and the research? And like, can I just give you this system so that you can just like learn it and go, and you don't have to go through the headache, the emotional heartache, the time, the effort, like, just because, sometimes you're just like, can I just do something that works, please? Like, I don't, can I just like not have to figure it out? Right. So I was like, well, like, if I could help other moms and I could have already done the figuring out, like, for them, and then, so Alicia Cohen Designs was born, so that I could teach people my methods, teach people my ways, essentially teach people what I figured out and like compiled together through all my searching. And yeah, so
Well, that's one of
yeah.
the I guess benefits of hiring someone like you, or I like someone, a coach or a guide, or someone who went through all the things and now can compress time for you so that, fellow mom, you do not have to go through the same thing. So that's fantastic.
Thank you.
How do you, obviously we don't want to give away all of your secrets, your bubbly goop, but
Oh, I'm happy. I'll tell you my body bee boo.
no,
It's not a secret. It's not a secret. But if you want someone with you and like
Mm,
answering your questions, and right, that's where like come work with me.
yeah.
But no, I mean, there are some things that I'm not going to tell you the whole program. First of all, we'd be here for way too long.
Yeah.
It's a 12-week program. But second of all, like no, like I'm happy to tell like I don't have some sort of like behind the secret curtain. Like I will reveal all like behind the secret curtain. I'll reveal the rest. But no,
Perfect.
I'm happy to share stuff with you guys today.
Well, let's focus on the three secrets, and
Yeah,
then perhaps we can expand from there. So,
that
three
sounds good.
secrets of effective planning. What the heck is effective planning to begin with? What does that even mean?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what I think of effective planning is that you're able to accomplish what you want to accomplish, and you're
Mhm,
able to feel how you want to feel about what you're accomplishing, right? So ineffective planning was what I was doing on the hamster wheel marathon, working
mhm,
so hard, not
mhm,
getting anywhere, and then feeling awful about it.
mm.
Effective planning would be sure, like sometimes you got to work hard, but maybe you don't have to work that hard. And when you work hard, you feel like you get somewhere and you accomplish things and you feel successful, you feel confident, you feel like in control. And I know that if I do X, I will produce Y.
Yeah, yeah,
And that you do all that and you're like, yes, like I feel calm. I've got this.
yeah.
Like that's effective productivity, effective planning. Yeah,
Mm.
in my book.
Okay, okay, so now that we have a sense of what that means, what's secret number 1?
Yeah. So secret number one is in my method, like my opinion, you gotta get clear on your season. So I
Mm.
teach season-based planning, season-based productivity. I know out there's a lot of like buzz and information about work-life balance, and people chase work-life balance. And I'm not like anti work-life balance, like especially if that works for you, like cool, then do work-life balance. But if you're a person who work-life balance isn't working for you, or even so if you're a working mom, right, work-life balance, and if you're a stay-at-home mom or some other like setup of mom and you don't have a work-life balance, that if that term doesn't resonate for you, well then just like life balance or balance, right?
Sure.
We seek balance, but sometimes, at least the way that I think of it, balance is like every piece, every area of our life getting equal time,
Right.
attention, effort, right? Like we have a big pitcher and we're pouring into our little buckets and they're
Yeah,
all getting equal.
yeah.
I find that's just not real life. That's just not real life. And I think it's dangerous that when moms, women, whomever out there are trying to pursue this work-life balance or just life balance, they're like, why, like, oh, it's so hard, it's so stressful, like
Mhm,
I can't, like
mhm.
I'm trying to give time to my significant other, my kids, my job, myself, my hobbies, my volunteering, whatever. And it's just like, yeah, it doesn't work, not well. And maybe if listen to me, if this works well for you, then just like you
Yeah.
don't, you don't have to listen to me right now. But if you're a person out there and you're like, yeah, I try to do balance and I feel like I'm banging my head against a brick wall
Mhm,
trying to achieve this,
mhm.
well, then let me introduce you to season-based living. And that's what I teach. That's secret number one. So you're getting really clear on whatever your current personal life season is. So
Mm.
seasons of the year, yes, that's a part of it. But I'm talking about, are you pregnant or not? Do you have a newborn or not? Are your kids or kids, whatever, infants, toddlers, school age, teenagers? Are you an empty nester? Do you have someone in your life with significant needs, whether it's a kid with special needs or you're caring for an elderly parent,
Mhm.
or,
Mhm.
maybe you have a spouse who has significant needs, whatever,
Mhm.
right? But, like, taking all of that, is it busy season or light season for you at work? Are you on a bajillion volunteer committees and maybe you got on one like a few too many? Do you have like a tournament travel soccer player? Do you have a competitive gymnast, in your family?
Yeah, yeah.
What is making up, like, is it summer season when it comes to school, or is it back to school season, or is it you've got a college kid and it's college touring season, or not, you've got
Mm.
a, like, a
Yeah.
rising college kid,
Right,
right?
right,
And they're
right.
doing, like, all the college tours and traveling around, right? So, like, looking and getting super clear on what is currently making up your season and what in this season is important to you, what
Mm.
really matters to you, and, like,
Mhm.
what does this season look like? What is on your plate? But also what's important to you and what do you want this season to look like, as much as you're able to make some choices to shape and control that. So, season-based living. So we get really clear on this, and then this informs this is the domino that like ding, like
Yeah,
up over that
yeah.
little domino, and it kind of makes all the rest like fall into place. So we start with season-based living because then that tells us what we have time for or not, what we can say yes to or not, what we need to say no to, that whole bit. So, season-based living, I was trying to think before I maybe we launch into point number 2. I'm like, what else do I want to tell you about season-based living? So you just get really clear on that. And that's the
Yeah.
starting place. That's the starting place for what life looks like, what productivity looks like, what planning looks like. And that information, that's not pouring equally into all the buckets.
Right,
But like
right.
now in this season, maybe
Mhm.
it's a super working season, intense working season, or maybe it's an intense family season, or it's not all equal, right? And so we start there with the season and getting clear on our season and living in that and knowing that, and then making decisions from there.
I love this. I love this season-based living because I, for one, I'm anti work-life balance. That is not how
Yay!
I live my
We're
life.
we're in good company.
Yeah, I've used work-life integration, right? Like it's not an either or. It's not a, yeah, like you said, pouring
Yeah.
all the stuffs in the cups. There's a lot of things happening simultaneously. So
Yeah.
I love this reframing of living seasonally because, as you mentioned, right, there are going to be peaks and valleys with work, with life, with kids, and I think that's a more effective, right, and efficient approach to how we're planning things out. So yes,
Yeah.
yes, 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 I am
Yeah.
here for it.
Yeah, because also too, like, I feel like if we really embrace the season-based living, then it allows us to not beat ourselves up because
Yes,
we're like, "Oh, it's my season, it's this season." And
yes,
instead of like, "Well, why am I not working out 7 bajillion times a week? Why am I not meditating 50 times a day?" Whatever it is that like is important to you. Why am I not playing with my kids for 16 hours or whatever, like,
yeah,
oh, because it's not that
yeah,
season.
I love
And
that.
maybe this season is a week, 2 weeks, a month, a year, whatever, but like it's going to shift just like the seasons of the year shift. And so when we can own that and understand that and say, oh, okay, I'm not working out right now, but this isn't forever. It's just intense at work. And so I can't work out right now. And okay, would I like to be working out? Yes. But am I going to like let myself off the hook a little bit and say like, okay, it's the season, and that's okay. It's okay for the season to be what it is. And so I just hope that in the season-based living, that what this brings for people is
Yeah,
gentleness, with
it's permission slips,
yeah,
basically. It's like, "Here
yeah,
you
yeah,
go. It's not the season for that. It's
yeah,
all right.
yeah, yeah,
Wait till the
exactly,
next one." So,
exactly.
I love
Yeah,
that. That's
yeah, thanks.
fantastic. So,
Yeah.
what's number 2 then?
All
Now
right.
that we've
So
got seasons set.
number 2 is, and this was like big, like boom, like light bulb moment
I'm
for me
excited.
back when I was on the hamster wheel marathon, because I told you I had the color coded calendar, like beautiful. I had the organized to do list,
Yep.
beautiful, and I thought that having those two things meant I was planning, but I wasn't. I wasn't
Huh.
planning. I thought that by having a calendar and having a to do list, that meant you were planning. But people, People listening, it's not planning. Just because you have a calendar and a to-do list and you're like, wake up in the morning, is this you? You wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, what's going on today? Look at the calendar. Okay, cool. What am I going to do today? Look at the to-do list. That's not planning. That's waking up and like deciding, or like that. If you want to be effective with your planning, if you want to be effective with your productivity, you got to plan, which means you take the calendar and you take the to-do list and you put it together into a plan. And yeah, and there's whole method and details to that I teach, but that's the basic. Like, so just like check yourself. Are you actually intentionally planning? Are you planning in whatever's from your calendar? Are you planning in whatever's from your to-do list? Are you planning in what matters most to you and other tasks that like you kind of like the need, like, you know, like doing laundry, or, you know, the less glamorous, less exciting things.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's the plan where it comes together and you sit and you're intentional and you like write it out or you map it out in whatever way works for you. And you don't just think that by having these two things, or even some people just have the calendar and all the to-dos are in the calendar, and then that's a hot mess because they open their calendar and it's like, I can't even look at it. It's like
Yeah.
So that's secret number 2, is make sure that you are actually planning. Not fooling yourself, not fooling yourself to think you're planning when you're not.
Oh man, I feel so called out right now. Yeah, that intentionality. Well, because here's the thing, Alicia. I've been working on it, you know. I've been working on it, and I have such high expectations for myself, because I also have my planner and I have my to-do list, and I'm like, I'm gonna get done these like 10 things today and take care of my family, you know, right? And I realized, so I think maybe subconsciously I knew the secret, right? Because I learned, like, hold up, Rowena, you have all these meetings today, or you're meeting with such and such clients that takes up a lot of energy and whatnot. There's no way you're going to get done these 10 things today. Let's knock it down to 2. Like, being more realistic, as you mentioned, intentional with how you're going to integrate what needs to get done with what you have going on in the day. I think that's an amazing tip. Yeah.
No, yep, exactly. Because I mean, so when we do this, then we're able to kind of work with like, oh wait, what is going on, versus like, what do I think? Right. And I call that magical thinking, when we like when we put like 27 million things in the day, thinking like that. And that was like how I lived, like, right? I would wake up and I'd be like, oh, here are the 27 million things that I didn't do yesterday that I'm going to somehow get done today, plus the 27 million new things. And I'm going to get them all done today because today's the day. Like, let's go. Right. No, that did not work. That is some magical thinking, which, like, I am still a magical thinker, but now I have a system in place and now I can check myself. And I've got a way to like not do magical thinking, because magical thinking like feels cool and good in the moment when you start it, but then when you get to the end of it and you're like, oh, that was not so good. That did not go well. Yeah.
I would love to hear your take on how to contend with those yucky feelings, right? For those of us who are still dealing with magical thinking and trying to integrate what you've been sharing so far, right? Like you get all guilty and shame. It's like all yucky. Like, how do we contend with that?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with you. You just need a system. You are not broken. Like, hear me, people. You are not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. Like, you just need the system and the strategies, and then when you get that, then stuff can start happening. But like, it's not, you didn't do something wrong. You're not broken. You're trying to, like, I don't know. It's not even like Halloween time. Why is carving a pumpkin coming into mind? You're trying to carve a pumpkin with like a stick. That's not going to work. You're not going to get a very nice looking jack-o'-lantern. So it's summer. I don't know why I'm thinking about jack-o'-lantern.
I don't know, but I'm here for it.
That's like that, you know, like the brain goes where it wants to go with my like metaphors. Sometimes they're just like popping up. They're just popping up. Yeah. So jack-o'-lantern, that's today in middle of summer. But yeah, like, it's not going to work, right? So you need you need the right tools, you need the right system,
Mhm.
you need the right strategies to make your, jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
no, I appreciate that, giving yourself grace in that sense, and yeah, there's nothing wrong with you, you're not broken, it's
mm-mm.
just get equipping with the tools as with many other things, right? Why does it have to be different with how you plan and go about your life
Yeah.
as any other skill set or job that you're doing, right?
And you, like when I was on the hamster wheel marathon,
Mm.
I felt like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I get this together? Why can't I get this in control and under control? And like, but I just, I didn't know what I didn't know.
Yes.
I thought I had tools and I didn't. And I thought like, yeah. So again, there's nothing wrong with people, right? If you do not have, it's a skill, it's a learnable skill. Like anyone can learn. This is not magical, like reserved for like Alicia can do this but I can't. No, like anyone can learn this. It is definitely learnable. And it's just a matter of getting the tools and learning it, but like from what we're talking about today, and then yeah, like hanging around me, like yeah, and learning more from me.
Yeah, and we'll definitely give
Yeah,
you folks to stay tuned. We'll definitely give you a chance, Alicia, to share how to hang out with you more,
yeah,
on more one-on-one or in group
yeah,
settings and
yeah,
whatnot.
yeah,
So
yeah.
let's move on to secret number 3. I already
Oh,
got so much out of the first 2. I can't wait to hear this third.
oh, good, good, good. Okay, so secret number 3, which goes along also nicely with what you were sharing about your own, like how you were trying to plan too much into the day,
Yeah.
right? So the magical thinking thing, and it also goes along kind of well with what we were just talking about like how we feel about it.
Mm.
Is we the tip number 3, secret number 3 here is planning for your time and your energy.
Ooh, woof.
So, right? Woo! Like, good night. See you next time. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
right. So, what you were talking about when you've got that day with all those meetings don't just take your time. Those meetings take your energy, right? Like, we have, like, think of it like a gas tank or whatever, right? And we go to sleep and we wake up in the morning, and typically our gas tanks are full for the day. And then throughout the day, both our time and energy get depleted by various things. And then hopefully, we go to sleep and then they get filled back up again. And that's kind of how it goes. Well, each day. So think of, okay, so I like metaphors and
I'm
analogies.
here for it. Listen,
So,
I'm a theater performer and a writer, and
yeah, cool. So
both
like
I do RPGs. Like I'm here for this
nice. So let's think
storytelling.
about Weight Watchers, right?
Okay.
I feel like Weight Watchers has been around. Not that I know that much about Weight Watchers, right? But it's been around long enough, and even me with my limited like knowledge of Weight Watchers, I know that in Weight Watchers there are points,
Yes.
right? There are points. So you have like so many points, and then you eat whatever, and then that takes away points, and you
Right.
eat whatever, and that takes away points.
Yeah.
Same thing for your planning.
Hmm.
You start the day with a certain number of points and you have that meeting. It takes away points, not just for time.
Yeah.
Don't just plan based on the hours in a day. It takes away points from your allotment here for your
Mhm.
time, but also your energy. And that matters because let's say you've got, okay, I'll just use myself as an example.
Okay.
I do not like paper, like piles, like paper clutter piles. If I happen to have a pile of paper that somehow accumulated, oh, that's like one of my least favorite things to
Oh
deal
wow. Okay.
with. Like I find it like, oh, what's in that pile? And it like looks really small, but a really small pile of paper can have like 50 papers in it, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, and those papers, like, what do I need to do with them? And yeah, bleh. So if I have a pile of paper that I need to go through or I want to go through or whatever, how long does it take to deal with some papers? And especially if I'm just going to like spend like 10 minutes on it and go through a few, right?
Mhm.
Not long, 10 minutes, like a little bit of time. Or even if I do the whole pile of paper, let's say it takes an hour, not a lot. But for me, given how much I really don't like going through paper clutter and like paper bleh, for me, that's a significant energy expenditure. Now, if I was just planning based on how much time it was going to take me to deal with that pile of papers, whatever, not a lot. But when you take that plus the energy, well, now suddenly that's more significant. And that
Mhm.
matters because when we're just planning based on time slots in the day, based on hours in the day, that's not taking into account the full picture. And the full picture of energy, it really matters, because after I deal with that pile of paper, I might feel a little bit drained.
Yeah.
But if I planned like 7 other things to do, it fits with time, but not with energy. And that really matters.
Yeah, that's such a great tip. That was something that I started to learn when I was a professor at Virginia Commonwealth University and working with my therapist when I lived in Richmond about accounting, right? Because I was doing, back to back to back, right? I was just over scheduling myself. And, I remember my therapist was like, Rowena, you have to account for the prep that goes into these meetings, the energy that goes into these meetings. Like, you can't keep, and I was just wiped. I was like, why am I so tired? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really effective. How do, the women that you work with, how do y'all go about allotting, I suppose, or like figuring out the energy store, I don't know. Like, I guess
Yeah.
when you talk about the points, right? If we're going to use the
Yeah.
Weight Watchers example, like how do we figure out how many points something costs?
Yeah, it's good. So I just recommend doing like a real basic like scale of 1 to 5,
Mm,
and just like making it concrete and easy.
mhm.
Now, it's an art, not a science, even though it's math, right? And it's kind of formulaic. It is an art form. It's like
Yeah.
it's a little sciencey, but a little arty, right? It's like
Yeah.
combined together. So and it's the kind of thing where it is highly variable for the individual, right?
Mhm.
So what someone's points are for person A is going to be different than person B, and what one person can handle is going to be different than the next, for
Right.
time, for energy. So you need to kind of like think about, well, what are my points? And then on a scale of 1 to 5, and for time, it's like a subjective scale of 1 to 5. It's not like,
Mhm.
well, 1 is 10 minutes and 2 is half an hour and 3, like, I mean, you can kind of like
Sure.
roughly do it like that. But so on a scale of 1 to 5, like, how much time is this going to take me? And then on a
Mhm.
scale of 1 to 5, how much energy is this going to take me? And so I call it points planning. Um,
Love it.
so yeah, so and then you figure out and you tweak, right? Like you write it down and you try it, and then you tweak it and you try it and
Mhm.
you tweak it and you try it, and then you
Mhm.
see, but you use the 2 scales of 1 to 5 and keep coming back to that, and then you see like, oh, I can do 50 points a day, 70 points a day, 30 points a
Sure.
day, whatever. And because also too, like if someone has a chronic health condition, well, the number of points that you are able to take on in a day,
Yeah.
especially if you're in a flare or whatever, like that's going to change. So just kind of, yeah, looking at, unlike weight, I mean, I don't know, like I said, I don't know much about Weight Watchers, but I think in Weight Watchers you're given like points, and that just is based on how
I
much you
think so
want.
too. I'm not like
I
super
don't know.
familiar with the concept of
Yeah.
what the nitty-gritty of what they do, but I
Right.
think you're right. I think it's like, here's your point allotment.
Yeah. So this is different. Like, so
Yeah.
unlike Weight Watchers where you have like your points and that's the points you're following every day,
Right.
this is different. You might have a different like amount of points for a Monday versus a Thursday, for a weekday
Mm.
versus a weekend. And your points are going to change based on your season, back to, secret number one.
Yeah.
So it's just good to kind of like have this whole thing like flowing and working together, because they kind of each inform the other. Um, so yeah.
Yeah,
So
that was actually one of my questions that you answered was, if you adjust based on the season. So it sounds like, yeah,
yeah.
you definitely do.
Yeah, because you don't just figure out your season once and then you're done.
Mm.
You go back and you keep going back. And if things are starting to feel like stressful or weird or off, it's probably because you had a season shift and you just missed it. And you need to go back and look at, wait, hold on, what's my season? Oh, it did shift. Like I moved. Whoops, I forgot. Something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or like whatever, my child started school, or my child
Mhm.
what, or whatever it is. So you got to keep going back, looking at the season, and then like, okay, well, what's going on with time and energy based on that season, and what kind of points can I handle at this time? And tweaking that, you do get it dialed in more and more over
Sure,
time,
sure.
for sure. But it is definitely like a fluid
Yeah.
kind of thing, fluid, but yet also kind of brings like a formulaic approach to it that makes it, for us magical thinkers, makes it like it keeps us in
Yeah.
line a little bit more, because it's like, oh, my points. Oops, I'm out.
Yeah,
Okay.
provides that structure.
Yeah.
So when you work with your clients, how often, like, do you plan your seasons and then have your points planning within that, or do you check, like, how often do you go back to, the points and whatnot? Like, what's the
Well, so the points is a daily thing, right?
Sure.
So I teach that you sit down and you do weekly planning,
Weekly, okay.
like rough
Mhm.
weekly planning,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
then specific daily planning.
Got it.
So the points are going to come in for the daily planning. So you sit
Right.
down and you plan tomorrow, and you're like, okay, what kind of day do I have tomorrow? Oh, it's like it's a day where it's a weekend day. And so I know that on a weekend day when we don't have a lot going on, I can expect this number of points from myself.
Mhm,
Cool. So you
mhm.
sit down and you're like, okay, I have this number of points. Like, what's going on? What do I need to take care of? What kind of tasks or projects, or what, like spending more time with my kids, whatever, right? Like, and
Mhm,
you put it
mhm.
all there and you assign it all points for time and energy, and you add it up and you compare it to the total. And yeah.
Mhm. Mhm,
And that's
mhm.
did you see that? My lights
Yeah,
just,
I noticed that,
I'm like,
yeah.
what is happening? It's
It
not
was, like, very profound.
it's not storming, but I was like,
It
oh,
was like,
like,
"Oh,
yeah,
daily point planning."
I just did it
Oh, it's
again.
doing it
Wow,
again. That is so interesting.
wow. I don't know. I don't know, guys.
Well, we're shining lights on this amazing system.
Well, thank you.
How can folks know more about you? How can they work with you? How can they, you gave us these 3 tips which are so helpful and effective, then I'll definitely start looking into incorporating in my own day-to-day as
Oh,
a
awesome.
busy mama. But, if folks are like, "Oh, I love it. I want some more." Like, how
Yeah.
can
Yeah,
they
yeah,
go about
yeah.
doing that?
So the best place to connect with me is my website, aliciacohendesigns.com. And on there you can find all my stuff. You can find my different social media accounts and whatever. But a few things that I want to highlight. So a freebie that I have for you guys that's actually not up on my website at this time. So you're going to have to visit the link to get this, right? So make
Okay.
sure to check out the show notes. So back to tip number 1, the
Mhm.
season-based living. If you're like, well, that sounds cool, I want to do that, but where do I get started? How do I do that? I've got so my season system, I call it Sync Your Season, like SYNC, Sync Your Season.
Love
And
it.
so I made a Sync Your Season mini workbook. So you
Mm.
can grab that from the link for the freebie, grab that freebie.
Okay.
And that'll also get you on my email list. And so you can like hang out with me and learn and hear from me there. The other thing that's really fun and awesome and I'm excited about is I'm wrapping up my spring cohort. There I go blinking.
There's good.
I don't know what is
Just
happening.
too powerful. Talk about energy.
This never like my lights never blink, guys. This is weird. Of course, like when I'm doing a Facebook live, that it's like not when I'm like sitting here typing,
Right.
like doing email and like creating content. No, when I'm like live on, you know.
Okay, we have our new moon in Leo today, so maybe that's it. Just
Uh,
like powerful energy. It's okay.
cool. So okay. I got distracted by my blinking
Yeah,
lights. So
sync your season, and then you
yeah.
said,
So we got the freebie, and then you got my website. But oh yeah. So I'm excited because my spring season from my group coaching program, Power Up Your Productivity, is wrapping up, and I'm getting ready to open enrollment for my fall season for Power Up
Mhm.
Your Productivity. So if you're like, yeah, this sounds cool. This sounds good. I wanna work with Alicia. Enrollment is coming,
Okay.
so it's not open yet, but like email me, get on my email list, DM me on Instagram, whatever. If you're like interested,
Sure.
be like, hey, I heard you on Revelations with Rowena. I want in. Like, just let me know.
Mhm.
I'll make sure that you get the link when it's enrollment's open. Also, I'm going to be offering, if you are like, I want even more, right? That my to-do system, the way that I recommend very specifically handling your to-do list I'm going to be giving a webinar on that is straight out of my group coaching program. So you get to see what the program's like. You get a win for yourself by coming to my webinar. So my webinar is going to be on August 18th.
August 18th.
So
okay.
that the webinar registration is not open yet, but it's coming soon. So again, like if you're interested in my webinar, DM me, email me, get on my list, something, just let me know and I will make sure that you get that. But it's coming soon. But the best way that you're going to be able to hear about that is either through my social media, through email, that.
Yeah.
So those are the website, and on the website, you can also learn more about the Power Up Your Productivity program. Under the Learn With Me tab, there's information to sign up, or not to sign up. There's information to learn more about Power Up Your Productivity. And you can also sign up for my VIPPs list, which is my very important productive person. And you can, and I get the people on that list, they get notified first about when enrollment's happening, or any discounts, or behind the scenes, or whatever. So
awesome. Yeah, that's all great, Alicia. I will definitely, as I mentioned, put all those links in the show notes so that folks can grab their freebie, get on your email lists, be notified of all the awesome things you got coming up, the program, the webinar, all that fun stuff.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This has been amazing. So much knowledge, gems dropped here and there. I know, as I mentioned, like I felt slightly called out a bit, but I think it was good.
Okay. As long as it was like called out.
No, it's all good. This is what we need, right?
Yeah.
As busy women, as overwhelmed mamas, someone to be like, hey, this isn't working, but it's not your fault. I've created this system that will help you get off that hamster wheel, right? That you mentioned. So,
and I like to say, if you feel stuck, you don't have to stay there. You don't have to stay stuck. Like if that is currently your reality, like there is a different way. There is hope. If you're feeling stuck with like planning and productivity, come join me. I would love to teach you my methods and help you get unstuck.
Well, folks, she clearly knows what she's talking about. She's tried it with herself. She did all the work to create the system. Tried and true. Work with Alicia. Thank you so much for being here today. It's been super fun. Even with our flashing lights.
Weird. Yeah. Thank you, Rowena.
No
this
problem.
has been fun.
Yeah, this has been really fun. Alrighty, folks. So August is full of vacations for the Winkler household. So we're going to take a bit of a hiatus for summer vacay, but we'll be back in a couple of weeks where I'll continue to interview different amazing entrepreneurs like Alicia here and learning how folks have their own revelations on the amazing work they're doing. So until then, take care. Enjoy the sunny weather if you're over where we are. And we will talk soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye.